Trudeau ducks and runs. I have a few videos for you tonight. They're from Toronto in Canada. A few dozen people had camped out in the city's west. We're talking about homeless people here. They had nowhere to go. So they pitched their tents in this public park. What happened next was classic police state stuff. Trudeau's thuggish cops arrived at the park. They wanted to evict these people, not by asking them to leave, but by smashing them with batons. These pictures are disturbing. We strongly advise viewer discretion. Those videos are difficult to watch. Evicting the already homeless is the pinnacle of state apathy. And remember where this is happening, in the utopian kingdom of Canada, where every politics is welfare politics. Do you know what this overkill was for? To remove 17 people. 17. What has the Grand Vizier of woke politics said about this? Nothing. No tweet, no flick of the hair disappointment, no apology. Was the Prime Minister too busy? Doesn't seem like it. He had enough time to tweet about the Olympics. Looks like Justin Trudeau has an acute case of political hyperopia, what we call long-sightedness. So Trudeau can see protests in India. He can see the ice melting in the Arctic. But police brutality in his own backyard, that's too blurry. Let me remind you what Trudeau said about the farmers' protest in India. Canada will always be there to defend the right of peaceful protest. We believe in the importance of dialogue. A couple of questions for the Prime Minister. Were these homeless citizens not peaceful? Were the protesters who supported them not peaceful? Why was the default response to attack and arrest these people? Trudeau won't answer. In fact, this has become his brand of politics. When tough questions are asked, he responds with a brooding silence. Unfortunately for him, this is not high school. Sheepish smiles won't cut it. I'll give an example of his double standards. Last year, Indigenous communities in Canada were protesting. They wanted to scrap an oil pipeline project. A group of them blocked railway lines. Do you know what Justin Trudeau did? This is what he said. The situation is, as it currently stands, is unacceptable and untenable. Then he goes on to say, it has been 2 weeks and the barricades need to come down. For more than 6 months, protesters have been camping on major roads near India's national capital, the same protests that got Trudeau's attention and sympathy. Do you know how long the Canadian blockade lasted? 30 days. Trudeau himself made the statement after 14 days of the blockade. So what's the yardstick here? Trudeau can evict homeless people. He can condemn indigenous protests, but still call himself the savior of democracy and free speech. By the way, his cops stand by what they did in Toronto. In fact, they seem proud of it. One officer claims that they did a quote-unquote tremendous job, that minimal and proportionate force was used. Seems like Trudeau's cops are more delusional than him. What happened in Toronto should not be forgotten. 26 people were arrested, dozens more were beaten up. All of them were punished for the state's failure. And heading the state is a man consumed with his own supposed